The massive ship floated in the darkness of space like a metal mountain. Its name was Eternal Dominion, and it was the pride of the Veltharian Empire. Inside the ship's main meeting room, Admiral Hyun-woo sat at a long table made of crystal. His purple skin gleamed under the bright lights, and his forearms moved as he talked to his officers. "These humans think they can warn us?" Hyun-woo laughed. His voice was deep and loud. "We are the Veltharian Empire. We have conquered 47 star systems. We have weapons that can break planets in half." Ambassador Kwan Ho stood at the end of the table. He had just returned from the Galactic Council meeting. His face looked worried. "Admiral, the Council was very serious about this warning. They said no ships should go near Earth's space, not within 50 light-years of their system." General Boram hit the table with her fist. 50 light-years. That is a huge area of space. Why would they protect such a young species? "Because 3 other fleets have disappeared there," Kwan Ho said quietly. "The Zephyrians went first. They had the best technology in the galaxy. Then the Corvan war fleets. They were the strongest fighters we knew. Last were the Nexus collective ships. They could think as one mind across thousands of ships." Strategic Commander Taemin leaned forward. "What happened to them?" "Nobody knows. They just stopped sending messages. Their ships vanished, no wreckage, no distress calls, nothing." Hyun-woo stood up. His tall body cast a shadow across the room. "You want us to be afraid of humans? They only learned to travel between stars 30 years ago. Before that, they were stuck on one small planet. We have been traveling space for 10,000 years. Intelligence Officer Min-ho touched a button on the table. Pictures appeared in the air above them. "These are the latest reports about humans. They have small fleets, maybe 200 ships total. Their weapons use old chemical explosives. Their ships are made of simple metal. See?" Hyun-woo pointed at the pictures. "They are babies playing with toys. While we have plasma cannons that burn at the heat of stars, our shields can stop any weapon. Our soldiers can move objects with their minds." Boram nodded. "Our psychic warriors alone could control their entire fleet. Humans have no mental defenses." Taemin pulled up more data. "Earth has good resources, though. Water, metals, rare elements. If we claim their system, it would make our empire much richer." In the back of the room, Engineer So-young whispered to her friend Dabin, "Something feels wrong about this. Why would the Council warn everyone so strongly?" Dabin shrugged. "The Admiral knows what he is doing. We are the strongest empire in the galaxy." But So-young was not sure. She had read the reports carefully. 3 different alien races had gone to Earth's area. All 3 were powerful in different ways. The Zephyrians could bend space and time. The Corvans had armies of warrior robots. The Nexus could share thoughts across their entire fleet instantly. "What if the humans did something to them?" she whispered. "Impossible," Dobbin said. "Humans are too primitive." High Counselor Yoonji spoke from the big screen on the wall. She was back on the Veltharian homeworld. "The Senate has voted. You have permission for a reconnaissance mission. Find out what happened to the other fleets. If the humans are a threat, destroy them. If not, claim their system for the Empire." War Minister Ji-hoon appeared next to her on the screen. "Take the entire 7th Fleet, 200 of our best ships. Show these humans the power of Veltharia." Hyun-woo smiled. His teeth were sharp and white. "It will be done. In 1 week we will control the Sol system. The humans will bow before our might, or they will be dust in space." The meeting ended. Officers began preparing for the journey to Earth. They loaded weapons and supplies. They checked their ship systems. They trained their soldiers for battle against primitive enemies. But some were not happy. Captain Song Hee-jin commanded the scout ship Stellar Pride. She had fought in many battles. Something about this mission worried her. 3 fleets disappeared, she told her second-in-command. "Strong fleets, that is not normal." "Maybe they had accidents," her officer suggested. "All 3? At the same time? In the same place?" Hee-jin shook her head. "No. Something else happened. Meanwhile, So Young worked in the engine room. She kept thinking about the missing fleets. She pulled up old records on her computer. The Zephyrians had sent their best exploration ships to Earth. The Corvins had sent a full war fleet. The Nexus had sent their smartest ships with the fastest computers. All different kinds of fleets, all with different strengths. But all had vanished in Earth's space. She found something strange in the data. Before each fleet disappeared, they had sent messages saying they found something unusual. The Zephyrians said human technology was not following known science. The Corvins reported that human weapons worked differently than expected. The Nexus said human ship movements were impossible to predict. So Young felt a chill run through her body. What if humans were not as simple as they seemed? 2 days later, the Veltharian fleet left their home system. 200 ships jumped into hyperspace together. It was a beautiful sight. The ships looked like silver arrows flying through the stars. Admiral Hunwoo stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. Space streaked past the windows in lines of light. In 3 days, they would reach Earth's solar system. Then the humans would learn what it meant to face the Veltharian Empire. Admiral, Communications Officer Shung Ho called out. "We are getting more warnings from other species. The Altarians say we should turn back. The crystal beings say Earth's space is dangerous beyond understanding." Hyunwoo laughed. "Let them be afraid. We are Veltharians. We fear nothing in this galaxy." But deep in the ship, So Young checked their weapons and shields one more time. She had a bad feeling that they would need everything they had. The fleet flew on through hyperspace, heading toward Earth and whatever had destroyed 3 other powerful civilizations. The Veltharians were confident in their strength. They believed nothing could stand against their mighty empire. They would soon learn how wrong they were. The Veltharian fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. 200 ships appeared in flashes of blue light. Admiral Hyunwoo expected to see primitive human vessels made of simple metal and powered by chemical rockets. Instead, he saw something that made his blood turn cold. Sleek black ships waited for them in perfect formation. The human vessels seemed to bend light around their hulls. They moved with smooth precision, like deadly fish swimming through dark water. There were only 20 human ships, but something about them felt wrong. "Scanner report," Hyunwoo ordered. "Sir, the human ships are not showing up properly on our instruments," Tactical Officer Yu-jin said. Her voice shook slightly. "Their hulls seem to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Our targeting systems cannot get a solid lock." Captain Song Hee-jin commanded the scout ship Stellar Pride. She moved her vessel forward to make first contact. "Human ships, this is Captain Hee-jin of the Veltharian Empire. We come to investigate the disappearance of 3 alien fleets in this system." The response came immediately. The voice was calm and spoke perfect Veltharian language. "This is Admiral Park Jae-ho of the Terran Defense Force. You have entered restricted space despite multiple warnings from the Galactic Council. State your true intentions immediately." Hee-jin was surprised. How did humans learn their language so well? And why did this Admiral Park sound so confident? "We are here on a peaceful mission," she lied. "Negative," Admiral Park replied. "We have been monitoring your fleet since you left Veltharian space 12 days ago. We know you carry 200 warships with full battle loadouts. We know your Admiral Hyunwoo plans to claim our system for your empire. We know about your plasma weapons and psychic soldiers." Hee-jin felt fear creep up her spine. How could humans know so much about them? On the Eternal Dominion, Admiral Hyunwoo was getting angry. "These humans dare to spy on us? Show them what happens when primitives challenge the Veltharian Empire." He ordered his weapons officer to fire a demonstration shot. "Use a low-power plasma lance. Hit one of their small ships. Do not destroy it completely, just show them our power." The plasma beam shot out from the flagship. It was bright orange and hot enough to melt mountains. The beam struck a human frigate directly in the center. Nothing happened. The human ship did not even slow down. Strange symbols appeared on its hull, glowing blue for a moment. Then the ship turned toward the Veltharians and fired back. The human weapon was unlike anything the Veltharians had ever seen. It looked like a beam of twisted space itself. The shot passed right through the Stellar Pride's shields as if they were not there. It hit the ship's weapon systems and shut them down completely, but did not hurt any of the crew. "How is this possible?" Yu-jin whispered. "Our shields are made of pure energy. Nothing should pass through them." Communications Officer Seong-ho was listening to human radio signals. What he heard made his forearms shake with fear. Admiral, I am picking up human communications. This patrol fleet is just border guards. Their main military forces are deeper in the system, hidden around the inner planets. Hidden where? Hyunwoo demanded. I do not know, sir. But they have been watching us for weeks. They know everything about our ships, our weapons, even our crew members' names and ranks. Admiral Park's voice came over the communication system again. Admiral Hyunwoo, we offer you one chance to withdraw from this system peacefully. Take your fleet and leave now. You will not be harmed if you go immediately. Hyunwoo's purple face turned darker with rage. You think 20 small ships can threaten 200 Veltharian warships? We have conquered entire star systems. We have weapons that can crack moons. Yes, we know, Admiral Park said calmly. We have studied your conquest of the Aldoran system. We watched your battle techniques during the siege of Krell Prime. We have analyzed every victory in your military history. We know exactly how you fight. This was impossible. Those battles had happened hundreds of light years away years ago. How could humans know about them? Commander Dong-hyun led the Veltharian Psychic Corps. He decided to use mental powers against the humans. Admiral, let me try to control their minds. Humans have no psychic abilities. I can make them surrender. Do it, Hyunwoo ordered. Dong-hyun reached out with his mind toward the human ships. He expected to find simple, unprotected thoughts. Instead, he touched something vast and terrible. It was not individual human minds, but something bigger. All the human ships seemed connected by invisible threads of thought. When he tried to enter their network, it turned his own power against him. Dong-hyun screamed and fell to the floor. His eyes rolled back in his head. Foam came from his mouth. The ship's doctor ran to help him, but Dong-hyun was unconscious. What happened? Hyunwoo demanded. The humans are not individuals, the doctor said, checking Dong-hyun's vital signs. They think together as one mind across all their ships. When he tried to attack them, they reflected his psychic power back at him. More human ships began appearing around the Veltharian fleet. They seemed to step out of empty space itself, materializing from nowhere. The new ships were larger and stranger than the first ones. Some looked like they were built from crystallized starlight. Others seemed to shift and change shape as they moved. Weapons Officer Kyung-soo tried to target the new arrivals. Sir, our weapons cannot lock onto them. They exist partially outside normal space-time. When we fire, they simply step sideways through dimensions to avoid our shots. Admiral Park spoke again. Admiral Hyunwoo, you came here believing you were superior to us. You thought we were primitive children playing with simple toys, but you made one critical error in your assumptions. What error? Hyunwoo growled. You assumed that older meant better. You assumed that because your empire is 10,000 years old, you must be more advanced than a species that only recently learned to travel between stars. But you never asked why humanity developed space travel so quickly. You never wondered what we were doing for the thousands of years before we revealed ourselves to the galaxy. Navigation Officer Woo Jin was studying the solar system with their deep scanners. What he found made him sick with fear. Admiral, this entire system is a trap. The asteroid belt is not natural rock. It is millions of hidden weapons platforms. Mars has been hollowed out and turned into a massive shipyard. Even Jupiter has artificial structures hidden in its atmosphere. How big is their fleet? Hyunwoo asked quietly. I cannot tell, sir. There might be thousands of ships. Or millions. They are everywhere, but most are invisible to our sensors. Fleet Engineer Ji-woo was analyzing the human technology from their weapon strike. Admiral, I have studied the energy patterns from their attack. They are not using technology as we understand it. They have somehow learned to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality directly. They treat physics like suggestions rather than laws. Admiral Park's final message came through clearly. You have 1 minute to begin your withdrawal from this system. If you do not leave immediately, we will consider you a hostile invasion force. And Admiral Hyunwoo? What? The 3 fleets that came here before you are not destroyed. They became part of our research programs. We learned much from them. We would be happy to learn from you as well. Hyunwoo looked around his bridge. His officers stared at him with fear in their eyes. 200 ships against an enemy they could not understand, could not target, and could not predict. But his pride would not let him retreat. He was Admiral Hyunwoo of the Veltharian Empire. He did not run from primitives. All ships, he ordered. Attack formation. Prepare for battle. The war was about to begin. The Battle of the Outer Planets began with Admiral Hyunwoo's order to attack. 200 Veltharian ships opened fire at once. Thousands of plasma beams lit up the darkness of space like angry orange stars. None of them hit their targets. The human ships moved in ways that hurt to watch. They did not turn or accelerate like normal vessels. Instead, they simply appeared in different places, as if space itself was helping them dodge. Captain Song Hee-jin watched her targeting computer go crazy, trying to track enemies that kept vanishing and reappearing. "This is impossible," she told her weapons officer. "They are moving faster than light without going into hyperspace. Maybe they are using some kind of teleportation," her officer suggested. "No," said Engineer So Young over the communication system. "I am analyzing their movement patterns. They are not teleporting. They are stepping through dimensions. They exist in our space and some other space at the same time." Admiral Hyunwoo watched his beautiful fleet fire uselessly at ghosts. "All ships spread out. Use area effect weapons. If we cannot target them precisely, we will destroy the entire area of space they occupy." The Veltharians launched their most powerful weapons. Fusion bombs that could destroy cities, gravity bombs that could crush asteroids into dust, quantum disruptors that could tear holes in space-time itself. The human ships danced between the explosions like they were drops of rain. Commander Dong Hyun had woken up from his psychic attack. His head still hurt, but he was determined to try again. "Admiral, let me use the full power of the psychic core. All 50 of our mental warriors working together. We will overwhelm their network." "Do it," Hyunwoo ordered. 50 Veltharian psychic soldiers joined their minds into one powerful weapon. They reached out toward the human fleet with enough mental force to control an entire planet's population. The human network absorbed their attack like a sponge soaking up water. Then it did something terrible. The network began to study the Veltharian minds while they were connected. It learned their thoughts, their memories, their fears, their battle plans. "Pull back," Dong Hyun screamed. "They are reading our minds. They know everything we are thinking." But it was too late. Half of the psychic soldiers collapsed. The other half began speaking in strange languages, their minds filled with knowledge that was not their own. On his bridge, Admiral Hyunwoo realized the humans now knew every plan he had made, every strategy he might use. The human counterattack began. The first wave of human weapons was unlike anything in Veltharian military databases. They fired beams of twisted space that passed through armor and shields to strike the internal systems of ships. Veltharian vessels found their engines shutting down, their weapons going offline, their life support systems failing. But the crews were not killed. The humans were very careful not to hurt anyone. Commander Aira commanded the destroyer Swift Thunder. She watched in horror as one of the strange human constructs approached her ship. It was huge and did not look like it was built by any normal civilization. The thing seemed to be made of crystallized time itself, shifting and flowing like liquid. "What is it doing?" her tactical officer asked. "Scanning us," Aira replied, watching her instruments. "But not with normal sensors. It is analyzing our ship on a molecular level." Suddenly, the space around the Swift Thunder began to move differently. Time slowed down inside a bubble around the ship. Aira could see the rest of the battle happening outside. But everything moved like thick liquid. Laser beams crawled through space. Explosions bloomed slowly like deadly flowers. Inside the time bubble, human repair drones appeared. They began fixing the Swift Thunder's damaged systems while the crew watched helplessly. The drones worked with impossible precision, improving the ship's engines and weapons as they repaired them. "They are making our ship better," the engineering officer said in amazement. "But why?" The answer came over the communication system. It was Admiral Park's calm voice. "We are upgrading your vessel to survive what comes next. Please remain calm." Navigation Officer Woo Jin was still scanning the solar system from his position on the flagship. What he found got worse every minute. "Admiral, the entire asteroid belt just activated. There are millions of weapons platforms out there. They have been disguised as rocks for years, maybe decades. How powerful are they? Each platform has enough firepower to destroy one of our cruisers. And there are more platforms than we have ships." Fleet Engineer Jiwoo was studying the human technology more carefully now. "Admiral, I think I understand what they have done. They did not invent better weapons or faster ships. They learned to control the basic forces that make reality work. Gravity, time, space, energy. They can change all of these things directly." "That is impossible," Hyunwoo said. "No, sir. It is just very difficult. It would take thousands of years of study and the combined knowledge of many different species to learn such things." Hyunwoo felt a cold fear growing in his stomach. "Many species?" Yes, sir. I am detecting technology signatures from Zephyrian time manipulation systems, Corvin gravity weapons, and Nexus networking protocols. But they are all improved beyond what those species could achieve alone. The truth hit him like a physical blow. The 3 missing fleets had not been destroyed. Their technology and knowledge had been taken and combined into something far more powerful. Communications officer Xung Ho picked up a human transmission that was not meant for them. Admiral, I intercepted a message from the human command ship to their research stations. They are already analyzing our ship designs, our weapons, our crew biology. They want to understand everything about us. A new group of human ships appeared near the Veltharian fleet. These were different from the others. They looked like they had been built using familiar technology, but changed in ways that made them better. He-Jin recognized Zephyrian hull designs mixed with Corvin weapon systems and Nexus communication arrays. Those are the missing fleets, she whispered. The humans did not destroy them. They absorbed them. Admiral Park spoke to the entire Veltharian fleet. Your weapons cannot harm us because we understand them completely. Your tactics cannot surprise us because we have studied your military history for decades. Your psychic powers cannot affect us because we have learned from species far more powerful than yours. Then what do you want? Hyunwoo demanded. To understand you, Park replied. Every species has unique knowledge, unique ways of thinking, unique solutions to the problems of existence. The Zephyrians taught us about time. The Corvins showed us new forms of matter. The Nexus revealed the secrets of group consciousness. What will you teach us, Admiral Hyunwoo? Around the flagship, human ships began forming a perfect sphere. They were not attacking anymore. They were waiting. You have a choice, Admiral Park continued. Surrender now, and your crews will be treated with respect. Your knowledge will be preserved and honored. You will become part of something greater than any single species could achieve alone. And if we refuse? Hyunwoo asked. Then you become test subjects instead of partners. The outcome is the same, but the process is less pleasant. Medical Officer Seo Jin was treating wounded crew members in the Eternal Dominion's sick bay. She noticed something strange about the injuries. Crew members who had been exposed to human energy weapons were changing. Their cells were being rewritten by microscopic machines that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Doctor, one of the patients said, I can see things differently now. The human ships, they are not just vessels. They are alive somehow. They think and feel and dream. Seojin ran more tests. The nanoscale machines were not harmful. They were educational. They were teaching the Veltharian cells how to exist in multiple dimensions, how to process energy more efficiently, how to communicate without words. The crew members were becoming something new. Something that was still Veltharian, but also something more. Hyunwoo looked around his bridge at the faces of his officers. They were all thinking the same thing. They could fight and die uselessly, or they could surrender and become part of whatever the humans were building. But his pride was still too strong. He was Admiral Hyunwoo of the Veltharian Empire. He would not bow to primitives no matter how advanced they had become. All ships, he ordered. Fight to the last. We are Veltharians. We do not surrender. The human response was swift and final. They did not destroy the remaining Veltharian ships. Instead, they simply turned off their weapons, their engines, their life support systems. The proud fleet became floating metal coffins in the darkness of space. But the crews were kept alive. Human boarding pods attached to every ship. The integration process was about to begin. The human boarding pods attached to the Veltharian ships like metal parasites. Admiral Hyunwoo sat in his command chair, powerless to stop them. His mighty fleet floated dead in space, their weapons silent, their engines cold. Admiral, Communications Officer Seung Ho said quietly, the humans are not trying to break into our ships. They are just waiting outside the airlocks. Waiting for what? I think they want us to let them in. A gentle voice came over the communication system. It was not Admiral Park this time. It was a woman who spoke with a strange accent. This is Dr. Kim Soo-jin of the Human Integration Program. We would like to come aboard to speak with your crew. We promise no harm will come to anyone. Hyunwoo laughed bitterly. You have already defeated us completely. Why do you need our permission to board? Because we respect the dignity of all intelligent life, Dr. Kim replied. Even our enemies deserve to make their own choices about their future. Captain Song Hee-jin was the first to open her airlock. She could not fight anymore. and she was curious about these humans who had destroyed 3 fleets without killing anyone. The being that came aboard the Stellar Pride looked human, but something was different. Dr. Kim Soo-jin had normal human features, but her eyes held knowledge that seemed impossibly deep. When she moved, space seemed to bend slightly around her. "Captain Hee-jin," Dr. Kim said with a smile, "thank you for letting me aboard. I have been studying your military record. You are an excellent tactician. Your victory at the Battle of Crimson Nebula was particularly impressive." Hee-jin felt a chill. That battle had happened 5 years ago, deep in Veltharian space. "How do you know about that?" "We know about everything, Captain. We have been watching the galaxy for a very long time." Dr. Kim walked through the ship, examining the Veltharian technology with interest. She touched control panels and machinery, and wherever she touched, the equipment began working better than before. "Your plasma containment systems are quite elegant," she said, "but you could improve efficiency by 17% with a simple modification to the magnetic field geometry. You understand our technology?" "We understand all technology, Captain. Physics works the same way throughout the universe. The only differences are in application and creativity." Meanwhile, on other ships, more humans were boarding. Engineer So Young met with a human scientist who called himself Dr. Lee Changmin. He was young-looking, but his eyes were ancient. "Your engines are impressive," Dr. Lee told her, "but you are only using 3 dimensions for your hyperspace calculations. There are at least 11 dimensions available for faster-than-light travel." So Young stared at him. 11 dimensions? That is impossible. Our greatest scientists have only found evidence for 4. That is because you have been looking in the wrong places. Dr. Lee smiled. "Here, let me show you." He touched the engine control console. Suddenly, So Young could see mathematical equations flowing through the air like living things. The formulas showed her how space and time were connected in ways she had never imagined. "This is beautiful," she whispered. "Knowledge always is," Dr. Lee agreed. On the flagship, Admiral Hyunwoo was visited by someone who looked like a normal human man. But when the being introduced himself, Hyunwoo felt his blood turn to ice. "I am Admiral Park Jae-ho," the human said. "But that is not the name I was born with. Long ago I was called Zarthek the Destroyer. I was the commander of the Corvin 3rd Battle Fleet. That is impossible." "You are human." "I am human now," Park agreed. "But I was Corvin when I came to this system 20 years ago. My fleet was the second to disappear in Earth space." Hyunwoo could not speak. He stared at the being who had once been an alien warrior, now transformed into something that looked human but thought in ways no single species could achieve. "What did they do to you?" he finally asked. "They offered me a choice," Park said. "The same choice I am offering you now. I could die as Zarthek the Destroyer, or I could live as Park Jae-ho, human admiral and guardian of Earth. I could keep my memories, my personality, my essential self. But I would gain so much more. You betrayed your own species." "No," Park said firmly. "I evolved beyond my species. I became part of something larger and more wonderful than anything the Corvin Empire could have achieved alone." Chief Science Officer In Young was in her laboratory when a human researcher came to visit her. The woman looked Korean, but she spoke with the accent of the Nexus Collective. "I am Dr. Park Min-jung," she said. "I was once Node 7742 of the Collective. My ship was part of the 3rd Fleet to come here." "The Nexus was destroyed?" "The Nexus was absorbed," Dr. Park corrected. "Our group mind became part of a larger network. We did not lose our ability to think together. We gained the ability to think with thousands of other species as well." She touched In Young's research equipment, and suddenly the Veltharian scientist could feel other minds connecting to hers, not controlling her thoughts but sharing knowledge with her. She could sense the research being done on dozens of ships in hundreds of laboratories, by thousands of brilliant minds working together. "This is what we offer," Dr. Park said. "Not the death of your individuality, but the expansion of it beyond anything you thought possible." Medical Officer Seo Jin was examining the crew members who had been changed by human nanomachines when a human doctor came to her sickbay. The man looked human but moved with the fluid grace of a Zephyrian. "I am Dr. Kim Jun-ho," he said. "I was once Time Walker Velnath of the Zephyrian Exploration Corps. Our fleet was the first to be integrated into humanity." "Integrated," Seo Jin repeated. "Not conquered." "Exactly. We were not destroyed. We were invited to become part of something greater." He examined her patience with instruments that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions. Your crew members are not being harmed. They are being prepared for transformation. Transformation into what? Into whatever they choose to become. The nanomachines do not force change. They simply provide options. Your people can remain exactly as they are, or they can accept improvements that will let them experience reality in new ways. Dr. Kim showed her medical scans of the affected crew members. Their bodies were becoming more efficient, their minds more flexible, their lifespans longer, but they were still recognizably Veltharian. The choice is always theirs, he said. Communication specialist Junho had been listening to human transmissions for hours. He finally managed to decode some of their internal communications. What he learned made him physically sick. The humans were not just one species anymore. They were dozens of species, all thinking together while maintaining their individual identities. The integration process did not destroy alien civilizations. It preserved them perfectly while adding their knowledge to humanity's growing library of understanding. But the humans had been doing this for centuries. Earth was not their original homeworld. It was a collection point, a place where they gathered and studied new forms of life. The humans were themselves the result of countless integrations, beginning long ago with some original species that no one remembered anymore. Admiral, he said over the communication system, the humans are not a young civilization. They are the oldest civilization in the galaxy. They have been hiding their true nature, pretending to be primitive while they studied everyone else. How long have they been doing this? According to their records, over 50,000 years. They have absorbed hundreds of species. Each one added something new to their collective knowledge. The terrible truth was becoming clear. Earth was not a planet. It was a vast construct designed to look like a planet. The entire solar system was a laboratory where humanity studied and collected intelligent life from across the, galaxy. And now it was the Veltharians' turn. Admiral, Park's voice came over the communication system one last time. Admiral Hyunwoo, you have seen what we are. You understand what we offer? Your crew members are already beginning to change. You can fight this process and suffer, or you can embrace it and transcend everything you thought was possible. You are asking us to stop being Veltharian. No, Park replied. We are asking you to become the best possible version of Veltharian. To be Veltharian and more. To keep everything you are while gaining everything you could be. Around the dead fleet, human ships began to glow with soft light. The integration process was beginning whether the Veltharians chose it or not, but those who accepted it willingly would find the journey much easier than those who fought against it. Hyunwoo looked around his bridge at his officers. Some looked terrified, others looked curious. A few already looked different, their eyes beginning to shine with new knowledge. The Veltharian Empire was about to become part of something much larger and infinitely more complex. The only question was whether they would join willingly or be forced to adapt. Either way, they would never be the same again. The last Veltharian ships floated in space like broken toys. Admiral Hyunwoo sat in his command chair, watching his crew change before his eyes. Some were fighting the transformation, screaming as their bodies adapted to new realities. Others had accepted it peacefully and now moved with impossible grace, their eyes glowing with knowledge from 1,000 different worlds. Science Officer Young Ho had spent the last 6 hours studying captured human technology. What he found filled him with a despair deeper than death. Admiral, he said quietly, I understand now. We never had a chance. What do you mean? Human science is not more advanced than ours. It is based on a completely different way of thinking. Young Ho's voice shook as he spoke. We try to conquer nature, to force it to obey our will. Humans learn to become one with nature, to convince reality to change itself. He showed holographic images of human equipment. The technology seemed to grow and evolve as they watched, adapting to new situations like a living thing. They do not build machines, Young Ho continued. They grow partnerships with the fundamental forces of the universe. Their ships are not vessels. They are relationships with space and time itself. Admiral Park's voice came through the communication system. Your scientist is correct, Admiral Hyunwoo. We do not dominate reality. We cooperate with it, and now we would like to cooperate with you. Through the windows of the Eternal Dominion, Hyunwoo could see Earth in the distance, but it was not the planet he had expected to find. The surface was covered with structures that looked like they had been grown rather than built. Cities floated in the atmosphere, connected by bridges of pure energy. The oceans themselves seemed to pulse with artificial intelligence. "What is that place?" he whispered. "Home," Park replied. "Home to 17,000 different species, all working together to understand the mysteries of existence. Would you like to see it more closely?" The Veltharian fleet began moving toward Earth, pulled by invisible forces. They were not being dragged against their will. The human ships were simply carrying them along like a river carrying leaves. As they got closer, Hyunwoo could see the truth about Earth's population. The beings walking through the floating cities looked human from a distance, but up close he could see they were different. Some had the graceful movements of Zephyrians, others had the strong bodies of Corvins. Many showed features from species he did not recognize. "All those species," he said. "You absorbed them all." "We welcomed them all," Park corrected. "Each one chose to join us. Each one brought gifts of knowledge and wisdom. Each one became part of our growing family." Captain Song Hee-jin had stopped fighting the changes in her body. The nanomachines were not hurting her. They were teaching her cells how to process energy more efficiently, how to heal faster, how to think in ways she had never imagined possible. "I can see it now," she told her crew. "The human network. It is not a loss of individuality. It is the sharing of consciousness while keeping our own thoughts private. I am still Hee-jin, but I can also feel the knowledge and experience of thousands of others." Her tactical officer looked frightened. "What are they doing to us?" "They are offering us a choice," Hee-jin said. "We can remain as we are, living and dying as individual Veltharians. Or we can become something new, something that can live for thousands of years and understand the deepest secrets of the universe." Engineer So Young was working with Dr. Lee Chang-min to understand human technology. Her mind had been enhanced by the nanomachines, and now she could see mathematical relationships that had been invisible before. "The entire universe is connected," she said in amazement. "Every atom, every star, every living being, they are all part of one giant pattern. Humans learned to read that pattern and work with it instead of against it." "Exactly," Dr. Lee smiled. "And now you can learn to read it too. Your species has unique ways of processing information through psychic abilities. Combined with our multidimensional mathematics, we can explore new forms of reality that neither of us could reach alone." Medical Officer Seo Jin was watching her patients adapt to their transformations. The crew members who had accepted the changes willingly were becoming healthier and stronger. Those who fought against it were suffering, but even they were slowly adapting. "Doctor," one of her patients said, "I do not feel Veltharian anymore, but I also do not feel human. What am I becoming?" "You are becoming yourself," she replied, understanding flooding through her enhanced mind. "You are becoming the best possible version of what you could be." The patient smiled. His eyes now glowed with soft blue light. "I can feel the thoughts of the entire fleet, but not in a controlling way. It is like being part of a vast family where everyone cares about everyone else." Communications Officer Sung Ho had finally cracked the deepest levels of human communication networks. What he found there was beyond anything he had imagined. The humans were not just connected to each other. They were connected to the fundamental information structures of reality itself. "They can rewrite the laws of physics," he told Admiral Hyun-woo. "Not break them, rewrite them. They have become partners with the universe itself." "How is that possible?" "By understanding it completely. They know how every atom works, how every force operates, how every law of nature functions. And when you understand something completely, you can convince it to work differently." Through the enhanced communication network, Hyunwoo could feel the presence of thousands of alien minds, former enemies working together on projects that no single species could have attempted. Zephyrians and Corvins collaborating on time travel research, Nexus drones and human scientists building new forms of consciousness. But each species maintained its own identity within the greater whole. They were not slaves or victims. They were partners in the greatest scientific project in galactic history. Admiral Park appeared on Hyunwoo's bridge, but not through a hologram. He simply walked through the wall as if it was made of air. The transformation process had given him abilities that transcended normal matter. "Admiral," he said gently, "you have a choice to make. Your crew is already changing. About half have accepted the transformation willingly. The others are fighting it, but they will adapt eventually. The process cannot be stopped now." "You are destroying us," Hyunwoo said. "No," Park replied. "We are preserving you. In 50 years, when the Veltharian Empire has fallen to civil wars and economic collapse, your people here will still exist. They will remember your culture, your history, your achievements. They will carry the best parts of Veltharian civilization forward into the future. How do you know our empire will fall? Park's eyes grew sad. Because we have seen it happen to dozens of civilizations. Pride, greed, and fear always destroy empires eventually. Only by joining something larger can a species truly survive. The final transformation began as Earth's orbit brought the fleet into the planet's atmosphere. The remaining Veltharian ships were gently guided down to landing. Platforms where thousands of former aliens waited to welcome them. Hyunwoo saw beings that had once been his enemies, working side by side with creatures he did not recognize. All of them looked content, fulfilled, engaged in work that gave their existence meaning. "What happens to me?" he asked Park. "That depends on you," Park replied. "You can accept the transformation and become Admiral Park Hyunwoo, human commander and guardian of knowledge. You will keep your memories, your personality, your essential self, but you will also gain access to the combined wisdom of 17,000 species. And if I refuse, then you will become research subject H7749. You will still be preserved, still be studied, still contribute to our understanding of consciousness and intelligence. But the process will be less pleasant, and you will have no control over what happens to your knowledge." Around him, Hyunwoo could see his crew making their choices. Engineer So-young stepped forward and accepted the full transformation, her body shifting and changing until she became something that was still recognizably her, but also something more. Captain Heejin chose to remain mostly unchanged, but accepted the mental enhancements that would let her communicate with the human network. Others, like Communications Officer Sung-ho, chose to become full humans while retaining their Veltharian memories and knowledge. "We are still Veltharian," Heejin said to him, "but now we are also part of something greater. We can still be proud of our heritage, but we no longer have to be limited by it." Hyunwoo looked out the window at the incredible city that surrounded them. Beings that had once been mortal enemies were now working together to build wonders that defied imagination. Time manipulation laboratories run by former Zephyrians, matter conversion facilities operated by ex-Corvins, communication networks maintained by previous Nexus drones. All of them were still themselves, but also part of humanity's ever-growing family, Admiral, Park said quietly. "Your pride brought your fleet here, but it does not have to bring about your extinction. You can choose to evolve instead of die." Admiral Hyunwoo, the last unconverted member of his crew, looked around at his officers. They were all watching him with concern and hope. They were still his people, but they had become something more. He thought about his empire, so proud and so certain of its superiority. He thought about the warnings they had ignored, the civilizations they had conquered,